Welcome you guys to another picture-in-picture whiskey tango foxtrot broadcast. My name is Mike and I am your host on this channel, and tonight's video is going to be very different to the kinds of things that I normally upload. In fact, it's more in line with the kinds of things that I actually search for. Now, the subject matter is the missing 411. For those of you guys who have absolutely no idea what I'm about to start talking about, I suggest that you go and listen to the very first airing of Dave Paulidas' Missing 411 on Coast to Coast AM with George Knapp. That show was horrifying, because when you start to hear the kinds of things that are happening to people in the woods, you start to realize that something extremely massive is going on behind the scenes, behind this veil that we call reality. And everybody seems to be lost in this, because we have all these little agents, is what I'm going to call them, that are experts in their field and cannot give an objective view of their subjective matters. For instance, the Bigfoot people keep saying that it's the Bigfoots. The alien people keep saying that it's the aliens. The dogman people, I'm sure they're out there, say that they're the dogmans. Then you have the reptilian people. Then you have the people that are trying to make it all work with like wildlife and people just getting lost, and psychopathic people and stuff like that, serial killers and things like that. Now, what I want to do today is start a new series on my YouTube channel where I'm able to talk about, so we can objectively look at what could be or what is possibly taking these people in the woods. For you guys who don't know what's going on here, the missing 411 are people that are going missing in places mysteriously, and in some cases impossibly, from areas where they should or should not be going missing, and then being found later in places where they should not be being found. Now, I want to point out that I have a little roster of potential candidates or suspects for people who may be potentially or things that may be taking these people or vanishing. Like, for instance, I have this group here. Now, it's really obvious that if you're even attempting to find out what could potentially be taking these people, you have to almost have had a paranormal experience, i.e. Bigfoot, i.e. aliens, dogman, reptilians, ghosts. If you can't bring yourself to that level where you know for a fact that there is something else going on in this world, then you almost can't even attempt or start to look into what's happening to these people. Because what I'm going to do with this series is I'm actually going to take you to a place where you are super uncomfortable, and it all begins with you understanding that you are not what you think you are, and you are more than you think you are at the very same time. See, what I want to do here is involve everything in a way that will open your mind to what is and could potentially be going on in this world and be happening to these people. I want to start this video or this series with this video and kind of just break it down real quick, and then in subsequent series take down and like for instance, I'll start with the next video will be just about Bigfoot. I'll give a kind of a rundown of each suspect, and then in the subsequent videos talk about each suspect on their own. So well, like I said, my paranormal person is the alien. You can't look at me in the eye and tell me that they don't exist, because I have seen them with my own eyes. See, already some of you might be thinking, this guy's nuts, this guy's crazy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But no, it is true. They do exist, and I know they exist because I've seen them. Now, some of you guys at maybe a lower level or maybe potentially a higher level have seen a Bigfoot. a 10-foot tall creature, 9-foot tall creature with muscles and arms longer than some human bodies, and that lives in the wood that nobody can catch, and only see his footprints and hairs every once in a while that you can't prove or have a lab actually give you correct information, or not have it hidden or thrown away or whatever. See, you have to stop looking at these kinds of things subjectively and look at these things objectively with an open mind and be able to congeal it all. Because when you listen to Dave Paulidas, and I've read his first book, and I've listened to every single talk show he's been on. In fact, that's why I said my search feed is absolutely filled with his talk shows, because that's all I want to listen to, because it is not only a mystery, it is the mystery in this world. Now, when you start to add up 1,000 people here, 1,000 people there, yeah, okay, it's just 1,000 people. Think about how big or how many people would be around you if 1,000 people just vanished. Like, let's say there was 1,000 people around you, and then they just vanished. Or just to even look at a picture of 1,000 people and single yourself out, and then everybody else just disappeared. Now, multiply that over years. Hundreds of thousands of people are going missing. And if you probably, if you add the world, there's probably millions. You see, in order to actually uncover what I have uncovered, you have to get a worldview on all these things here that are on this screen. Now, I'm going to talk about people. I'm going to talk about people like John Lear. I'm going to talk about people like Abraham Hicks, also known as Esther Hicks. I'm going to talk about people like Robert Morningsky. I'm going to talk about people like Thomas Edwin Costello. I'm going to talk about people like David Wilcock. These are all people that you need to know. Dave Paulidas is kind of like the key to this, because he's the one bringing this to you. Now, these people that I just mentioned will wrap this all up, and you'll start to understand what is actually going on here. Now, I'm just going to go give a quick run through over these suspects, and I'm going to eliminate the bottom row. Now, the bottom row, I have Vlad the Impaler. He's supposed to represent a psychopathic serial killer. Okay. I'm sorry, but I think I felt like he was a good candidate versus some random dude that just looked crazy. Okay. And then I have a picture of the woods, because, you know, sometimes people get lost. People make a wrong turn, and then they walk into forever in the wrong direction. Or, you know, they fall, they break a leg, and they eventually get eaten by and scavenged by animals. I also have the mountain lion, because he is an apex predator out in the United States, out in the woods, or even in people's backyards. I do have the grizzly bear, or a brown bear, black bear, any kind of bear, as a representative of what is out there in the woods. I have a reptilian. I have a dogman. I have an alien, and then I have a Bigfoot. Now, the top cast seems to be the group that is the most paranormal, and then within those groups you have levels of paranormal. Now, people in the Bigfoot world do not want to mix with the people in the alien world, because they feel like they are non-existent. There's no way that they can meld. Although the stories tell a different thing. The stories merge these things. When you start looking into what John Lear says about this, what Abraham Hicks says about this, you start to realize that there's a bigger picture here. When you look at creatures like the dogman and the reptilian, and how they connect with the alien and the Bigfoot, with the stories of the Terra papers from Robert Morningsky, it all comes together. Now, the big thing here is that they're taking people. What could they potentially be taking people for? Well, it's one of the biggest secrets in human history. We know it as CSF fluid. The Greeks knew it as Christos. What is Christos? Yes, this does involve the Holy Bible and stories of the Bible. And this is going to get really uncomfortable for a lot of people. And that's okay. Because what you learn from Abraham Hicks is that when you're uncomfortable, You're on the trail of the truth. And that's what we want here. Because something is happening to the human race. And if you're too scared to go there, then you have no place. You have no place even talking about this kind of thing. All right? So this is going to be just my initial video. I'm looking forward to starting off with a Bigfoot, and then I'll round it off with aliens, dogmen, reptilians. Okay, so now real quickly, I'm going to try and objectively eliminate the bottom row. Now you can't exactly eliminate the last square, which is the woods, because for crying out loud, that is where their people are going missing. Now, Dave Paulidas has other books in more urban environments, and he's got people that are going missing in suburban areas or even metropolitan areas, I suppose. But we're not going to really talk about those. For the most part, what I'm going to talk about is the people that are going missing in the woods and stuff. Because I can tell you right now that if this is happening to people in suburban metropolitan areas, then you start to round out the top row, if you know what I'm saying. Because there's no way that a 10-foot tall creature is walking down the middle of New York or somewhere in England, Britain, and tossing people in the river. Okay, it's something else is doing that. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to try and eliminate the bottom row real quick with just giving not specific examples, but examples of some of the cases. I don't want to bring up and I don't want to use any of Dave Paulidas' work. I just want to talk about the general circumstances that some of these people are being found in, or being involved in, or happen to have been involved in. Okay, we'll start off with the bear. Of course, people do get murdered or killed by bears. It's documented. You know, it happens every once in a while. People do get killed by cougars, pumas. I mean, they're a giant cat. You know what I mean? They'll eat your dog. They'll eat you if they get a hold of you. We have Vlad the Impaler there to represent people who could be serial killers that just taking people and murdering them, or taking them into the ground, or just even wild people, actual people who are living in the woods and kidnapping people. See, the problem with those three is that the main one, and the reason why Dave Paulidas always goes back to the canines not following a scent, is because if any of these three are involved, the canine will pick up a scent. Okay? But in my eyes, is that some of these people are being found. Okay? So if a cougar takes you, he's not going to leave you intact. If a bear takes you, it's not going to leave you intact. In fact, the bear's going to eat you right there and alive, probably. All right. A human being, aside from special forces and army men and, extreme bodybuilding people, cannot carry another 200-pound human for any significant distance at a significant speed. Because you need to remember that some of these people are going missing just feet behind their partners or behind their friends, or you know what I mean, like they're within eyesight, they're within earshot, and they're just vanishing. There's this little note that I wanna talk about real quick, and I don't know if it has any significance, but I once saw, and I need to find this, and I will probably post this in probably the Dogman or the Bigfoot video, of a line or a line of wolves and how they actually separate themselves in the group as they're walking, because there's a specific order, and I'm wondering if that order has anything to do with the way that the people are going missing, because it never seems to be the people in the middle. It's always the people up front or the people in the back. It's like they round a bend and they vanish, or they trail too far behind and they vanish. So that's something I'm looking forward to talking about. But right now, let's just talk about the bear, the cougar, and the man, which It's just not, okay? Like, I'm not even sure how to say this. Like, Dave Paulidas almost seems to be really clear about this, because if a cougar attacks your child, yes, it could take your child. It could eat your child. It could hit your child so hard it knocks them unconscious and drags them. But he's not gonna drag them, you know, several thousand feet up a mountain and then just leave him there, okay? He's gonna eat him, and he's not gonna go, you know, miles away to eat him. Okay, some of these kids that are going missing within inches or feet of their parents, and they are found, you know, 10 miles away, 19 miles away, outside of the regular search parameters of the search and rescue people. Now, that on its own shows you that something is picking them up, taking them miles away, dropping them off after they've done what they've done to them. And you have to remember, what could they potentially want with people? Because when they find them, they're lifeless, or they're near death, or they can't explain what's going on, or they can't tell you what happened to them, or they have this fit of amnesia that makes no sense to have happened to them at that given point. You know what I mean? Like, it's all, you need to, like, open your eyes, because this is great. It's grand. It's spectacular. It's something that's happening to these people, and it does not involve a bear. It does not involve a puma. It does not involve some psycho who's trying to kill people. Now, has it happened with any of these three things? Of course, probably. All right. Some of these people who have never been found may have been eaten by a cougar, or may have been taken by a psychopathic human or a serial killer. I mean, let's just say it happens. It's happened, but it can't be a blanket for all the cases, because, like I said, some of these people are being found miles away. Like my daughter is 1 year old right now, and she's about to start walking, and I can't imagine that in another year she'll be able to walk 19 miles to my parents' house, which is about the distance. Like, that's just not, and that's on paved road. Okay, there's no child that's gonna walk over mountains, over rivers, over streams, or even over like a small hill, for crying out loud. And Dave Paulidas is, he laughs about this, but he's famous for not giving his opinion on this. And kudos to him, because the second that he starts giving his opinion towards one of these entities or creatures or beings, then his whole thing's gonna fall apart, because everybody else is gonna tear it apart. But what I'm gonna do and is tell you that whole top row is connected. It's all involved. Now, how does some regular normal guy like me know this? Because I've had paranormal experiences with ghosts. I've seen the gray aliens, 2 of them, in fact. In fact, I'm almost 100% convinced that the aliens are the shadow people, because I've seen shadow people. That's 4. I've been insanely... In fact, if you look into my YouTube channel and the description of my actual page, Bigfoot's one of the first ones, aliens is in there, and then the rest of the stuff that I actually post about. So those are the reasons why the bear, the cougar, the psychopathic human, and I mean the woods. I mean, people get lost, and if they get lost, I mean that's where people are going missing. So you can never actually really exclude the woods, because that's where they went, and they never came back. So I hope that was enough, because those are the major reasons why it cannot be a bear, a cougar, or a person. Okay, because these people are vanishing within feet of people they love, that care for them, and they're never seen again. And a cougar will leave trace. I mean, just think about it. If a cougar were to bite you, I mean, I just scratched my leg a little while ago and I was bleeding like crazy. I mean, if a cougar attacks you, it's gonna dig claws. There's gonna be blood everywhere. There's gonna be dirt and leaves and broken twigs and everything everywhere. The same thing with a bear, and the bear's not gonna drag you very far. He's probably gonna drag you right into the right where he can get like a shady spot and eat you right there, or eat you right where he caught you. And everybody, I mean, this is common knowledge. I'm sure that you guys who are experts in these animals will agree. And those of you guys who can't open your mind up to that top row are gonna find all this really uncomfortable. All right, guys, so thank you for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button, that bell, if you don't want to miss the next 4 shows. I'm thinking that I'm going to run a video for each individual, and I think at the very end I'll combine them all, because I know that they're all involved at the same time, and it's pretty scary. And if I happen to upload some sort of gaming video or app video, that's my bread and butter. But you're here for one series and one series only. Peace out, guys. Have fun.